This video will demonstrate the installation procedures for a B&D roller door. The components for a Thermador, roll-up door or CSI Rollmaster may be different in appearance, however the installation process is identical. Before you start, you should make sure you have the correct tools to complete the installation. You will need a power drill and bits, a file, hacksaw, 2-step ladders, adhesive tape, marking pen, tape measure, Phillips head screwdriver, a socket set, spirit level, Stanley knife, water level and 450mm pipe wrench. B&D roller doors are designed to be mounted behind the opening. Therefore, you'll need to measure and check the opening width, opening height, side room and headroom. You'll also need to check that the opening is level and plumb and that it is structurally suitable. The door will fit any opening height up to the marked door size. A door cannot be installed higher than its maximum size. However, it can be installed in a lower position, providing the door guides are cut to size. If the opening is too high, the door should be installed at the maximum door height position and the opening reduced. As the door overlaps each side by 25mm or more, the door should be 50mm wider than the opening. A wider door can be fitted as long as additional side room and fixing is available. If the door is too narrow, the opening should be reduced by fitting jambs to the inside of the opening. The door is supported on brackets above the opening at each end and requires headroom for the door to roll up in. You should refer to your instructions for headroom requirements. Consequently, piers or doorposts must continue up past the top of the opening to provide fixing for the support brackets. A minimum of 75mm of side room is required behind the opening and should extend above the head to allow for bracket fixing. 100mm is desirable. Side room on one side of 115mm is required if a B&D controller door garage door opener is to be fitted now or in the future. The door must be installed in an absolutely level condition. If the opening is not level and square, appearances and or side room requirements will be affected. Where jambs are out of plumb, extra side room or opening modifications may be required to allow the door guides to stand back from the opening edge. The floor should be level or recessed across the opening to avoid gaps. If the floor is not level, contact B&D for taper panel options. Ensure the opening is strong enough to support the door. Ensure that the surface where the door will be fitted is flush and smooth and the area behind the opening is free from any protrusions. Do not unwrap the door roll at this stage. Your B&D door will come delivered with identification tags and protective packaging. Remove the brackets, guides and bag of small parts from each end of the door. Make sure that you have been delivered all the correct parts. You should have a rolled plastic wrap door, A-style brackets, left and right-handed, door guides, left and right-handed, steel locking bars and a small parts bag. You should check the contents of your small parts bag against the parts list in your installation manual. The standard fixings that come supplied with B&D rolling overhead doors are coach screws for attachments to timberwork. Remember, it is the installer's responsibility to ensure that the fixing method is sound. When deciding the fixing method, dynamic loads on door brackets as well as the door weight must be considered. For brackets, B&D recommends you use 10mm minimum bolt size masonry anchors, Dynabolts or similar. For the door guides, B&D recommend that you use the 40 by 8mm coach screws supplied with a good plastic masonry plug or suitable masonry anchors. Masonry blockwork should be properly filled and reinforced if brackets are to be mounted directly to blockwork with masonry anchors. Where the blockwork is not solidly filled but structurally sound, long bolts should be passed through the blockwork using suitable steel plates under bolt heads. Special consideration should be given to brick type and construction of wall to ensure satisfactory fixing. For example, welding detail if fixing to steel. To install the brackets, you must determine your headroom requirements. For doors up to 2,200 mils high, standard headroom is 350 mils, restricted headroom is 315 mils. For doors over 2,200 mils high, standard headroom is 370 mils and restricted headroom 335 mils. This installation will be for standard headroom. Measure up to 120 mils from the underside of the head. If the head is not level, measure up from the lower side first. Using a level, mark a straight horizontal line. If you have restricted headroom, measure down 230 mils from the roof or lower substruction, or 250 mils if the door is over 2,200 mils high to the top of the bracket. The bracket should be between 85 and 100 mils up from the lintel. Measure the door and opening widths to determine the amount of door overlap to enable correct positioning of the brackets. Add a clearance of 10 to 75 mils from the edge of the curtain to the inside edge of the brackets to determine positioning of the bracket. Mark two hole positions using top and bottom slots of the bracket. Drill both holes, ensuring that you use appropriate safety wear. Attach the bracket using the 50 by 10 mil coach screws and washers supplied, or masonry anchors if fixing to brickwork. Check that it is level. Now that the first bracket is in place, the second bracket is ready to go up. Using a water level, mark the position for the second bracket. Ensure that the brackets are perfectly level for the door to operate correctly. Recheck levels and then drill and fix as you did with the first bracket. If the headroom is less than 250 mils, a false head should be fitted to improve the external appearance of the garage opening. Note that the false head must not be installed too close to the curtain face. B and D head infill panels are available to match or contrast with your doors. An A2 extended leg bracket should be used in conjunction with the standard A-style bracket under the following circumstances. If the brickwork is old or in any way suspect, where old brickwork with lime mortar is encountered, or any doubt exists as to the holding power of the masonry work, a timber frame, which continues above the head for bracket fixing, should be fitted on the back surface of the opening. If floater bricks are present, but sound fixing lower down the brickwork is available. When fixing to honeycomb or semi-hollow bricks. When RSJ interferes with the bracket. When fixing brackets to timber, the heavier coach screws supplied are usually adequate, in some cases, especially where timber is very soft, old or insecure, coach bolts should be used. Check that the guides are the correct length. They must be level with the brackets or in the restricted headroom position are 35 mils max above the brackets. If the guides are too long, they will need to be cut to the correct length. An angle grinder can be used to do this.